Okay, I'm back. I've done a bit of searching. Now, I couldn't manage to find a decent chancellor. None of them wanted to come to my court, so I assume it's because I'm just a lowly count and I don't really have a great deal of prestige and things. So people don't generally want to come to your little pitiful place. However, my what's he called? Excuse me, steward. Whew. Bit of a mind blank there. My steward, who is only a 9 stewardship, can be replaced by this guy. He's Ribald Mab Edurs, strange name, hard to pronounce, but he's a de Pentiev, a member of the court of Pentiev down in Brittany here, and he doesn't like his current liege. He likes us, and therefore as a result of that he's willing to move from his court into ours. His stats: his stewardship is 14, which is pretty good. It's not excellent, but it's not rubbish. It's a sort of a mediocre, but compared to 9 it's a hell of a lot better. Now before I go replacing my steward, I should just double check to see a couple of things. First of all, he's already happy with us, so it won't be a massive blow if we lose a little bit of relationship bonus, which will happen when we sack him. And also, he doesn't appear to be anybody important. He's not a count, he's not a mayor, so he doesn't have a direct impact on our tax and things like that. So we don't really worry too much about relieving him of his position. So with that in mind, we invite our new contender to court. He'll consider the offer and no doubt accept, and then when he does accept and come to court, we're going to sack our steward and appoint Ribald into the mix, and then we shall have him collect taxes in Cornwall. George is greedy. If any of these council members are most important to George, it will be the steward, so it's very imperative that we get the best steward available to get that, keep the money rolling in. So moving on to the next tab, we have the laws. Now I can't change the laws now because I have already changed them once already, and I can't change the succession laws, so I'm not going to go through these until it crops up as available. Technology, I mean, if anybody can explain technology to me in a sense of understanding, then I would welcome it, but I personally have nothing to do with technology. I've never touched technology in this game while I've played it. I just generally leave it. Apparently if you click on one of these you can set the technology faster, you can research it quicker, but whichever one is best I don't know. I mean, legalism is good because it gives you short reign, lasts it goes away quicker, because if you notice some of the relationship bonuses here, you can see down there, short reign, -14. Because I've only ruled for a couple of years, I suffer a hit to relationship because I've only ruled for a short amount of time. So basically their trust in me is a little bit on the low side. With legalism, that short reign lasts a shorter period of time, so the bonus doesn't last as long. So it's a bonus in that respect. But anyway, as I say, I don't really touch these, so I'm not going to go through them. Military, we're not at war, so again, military isn't really of massive importance right now. Retinues, this is something that's been added in, I think, the Rome patch, or the Rome DLC, Legacy of Rome, whatever it's called. And I as of yet, I have never used them, so I'm not too sure how these guys work, these retinues. I'll have to have a bit of research about them, but I can't afford them anyway at the moment. Intrigue, we can choose a plot. We can see our own wife dead. Well, I don't think that's appropriate. Factions were added in a patch of couple of months ago, and apparently, basically, these are factions that rear their heads. If people aren't happy with the way certain things are going on in the land, they can create a faction to change a variety of things. So here we've got factions to want to change the succession laws. We can start a faction to claim independence, try and impose different kings on the throne, and all this sort of thing. If somebody starts a faction, they have to then get backers to their cause, people that support their cause, and the more people that support your cause, the larger your faction becomes. And when you become large enough, you can then propose an ultimatum to your liege: take my ideas into consideration, or we as a faction will wage war against you. And that's how it works. And there's more about that when they crop up. There's a whole host of options here also. We can invite holy men to court if we're lacking in bishops. Invite nobles to court if we're lacking in courtiers. We can invite young noble women to court for marriage purposes. Holding a feast increases our prestige. Holding a summer fair, holding a grand hunt, or going on a grand hunt, and basically spending cash to increase our piety, or piety, however you pronounce it. Diplomacy screen, religious screen. Pope Alexander II is losing out on tax because our Pope likes us more than he likes him. If the Pope likes us, if the Bishop likes us more than the Pope, we get the tax from him and we get his troops. If he likes the Pope more than he likes us, he sends his taxes and his troops to the Pope. So it's very important that we keep our bishops on side to maximise our profits. And that is basically the crux of the tabs. I mean, as I say, the more we do things, the more it will click into place. So before we start the game going, let's take a quick look at these here, these messages, telling us we have no heir, but that's still going to change because our wife is pregnant. So we'll dismiss this for now. Title loss and succession, because we don't have an heir. And we can create one title. Now currently we are the Count of Cornwall. If we look at Cornwall, we can see that if we look at the de jure status of the land, we can see that the de jure status, Cornwall is part of the de jure Duchy of Cornwall. Now the de jure Duchy of Cornwall is made up of Devon and Cornwall, and it hasn't been created yet. So because it hasn't been created yet, we can create it. We can create the Duchy of Cornwall because we have 50% of the counties in our control, but we need to spend 197 gold to create it. If we had 197 gold, we could create the Duchy of Cornwall and we would automatically become a duke, which is the next step up from a count. But because we can't afford it, we can't create it. And no doubt in due course the King of England will probably create it for himself, and then we'll lose the opportunity to become a duke and we'll have to gain it from other means. But for now, the County of Cornwall and the County of Devon are independent of the Duchy and swear direct fealty to the King. When the Duchy is created, the King will no longer be our liege, but the Duke of Cornwall will become our liege. But more about that when it happens. I've talked for long enough. I didn't want to talk for too long because I'm aware that a lot of people will probably be anxious to get the game rolling. So as I say, we're going to start the game rolling, and I'm not one for skipping extremely quickly. I like to see what's going on, so we'll just probably knock it up to level 3 and take it from there. So our potential steward has arrived at court. I don't know who he's brought with him. I don't know if he had any family members. I don't. He's got some children, and his children have come along as well. So he's brought along his 4 children. I don't know where his wife's gone. He's got 4 kids but no wife. It's a strange affair. So he's come to our court along with his kids. So I think it's time to depose our current steward. Hedstridden, yes, you've done a good job so far, but just not quite good enough, my friend. So where is our new... Where is he? Let's have a look. He's not got the best of opinions for us. We have a difference of culture, so he views us as a foreigner. But when we appoint him an honorary title, Master of the Horse, that should increase a bit of relationship. So we're giving him a title. And also when we award him, appoint him our steward, he should increase even further. So there he is. Our previous steward will no doubt take a relationship hit. Wherever he is, somewhere, Hesjedin, there he is, 53, fired from council, but it's still not too bad. And we're now going to get him collecting taxes instead. So he should be slightly more effective in collecting taxes than that previous chap. And this is just telling us that he's been sent to collect taxes. So we'll unpause it, keep the game flowing. In this game, ooh, looks like England are raising a few more armies here. Yes, Norfolk and Northumbria, I think you're in a spot of bother here, chaps. The king is not going to take this, and is going to probably crush you like bugs, and then imprison you all. So, who's he? Count Radulf of Norfolk, soon to be imprisoned, no doubt. And, of course, whoever is in charge of the Duke of Northumbria, Duke Morcar the First, could find themselves in a bit of bother. So here's a bit about the factions then. Count William of Hereford, our father-in-law, has founded the Lower Crown Authority in England faction, presumably because he wants to lower the Crown Authority. Lower Crown Authority, if we can see if we can find it. Okay, so here's the first little random incident, random event here. Apparently, Princess Sophia. How is she in my court? A princess of Hungary. Was she married to? Oh, she's married to Hesjedin. Our former steward has married a princess. Well, he's done well for himself, hasn't he? Anyway, not only has Count George of Cornwall sacked him from his position on the council, but now he's going to sleep with his wife. It's been a bad day in the office for this guy. Okay, so I don't think we can't actually do anything about this. There is no option to back out, so we have no choice but to make a move, which I don't think would be quite in his. I don't know. He's lustful. He's honest, but he's lustful. Would his lustful ways get the better of him here? Went to the chambers and gave her a good tumble. Holy smokes, look at this. Opinions of me have rocketed up to 88, and my opinions of her have rocketed up to 100. I have a higher opinion of her than I do my own wife. That is not good. What's her traits? She's patient, diligent, zealous, honest, and charitable. She has a high diplomacy as well. Wow. She's almost a perfect wife. Good diplomacy. I like the diplomacy stat. I always work with the diplomacy stat when I play this game. I think having good relations with people is a massive bonus. But she's also got good traits, so if we have children together, they would probably come out with good traits as well. High opinion. Wow. It's good to be the Count. Exploiting his power and his lustful nature getting the better of him. Cheating on his wife. Well, would you credit that? Naughty, naughty. Anyway, we were looking at the Crown Authority here. Currently the Crown Authority in England is high, and high Crown Authority makes it a bigger strain on the underlings. I think with higher Crown Authority, fellow dukes and fellow counts can't wage war on each other. They can't wage their own wars. I think the lower Crown Authorities allow you to wage war on each other, but with a higher Crown Authority, it basically means a king has a higher degree of control of his lands, but that obviously has an adverse effect on his vassals because they don't like to be squeezed under the thumb. So that's what the Crown Authority is. basically fighting over privileges and rights. The nobility, the underlings prefer a lower authority, a weaker state, because it gives them more play to do what they want. So as a king, higher crown authority is good if you have the people under your thumb, but as a duke or a count, you want a lower crown authority to enable you to do a little bit more, wage war with your fellow counts, try and claim a few more counties here and there. All of that would definitely be useful to us. So as we look at the wars, we can see that the War of Northumbria is now swinging into the favour of the king, mainly because he's sending his troops up into that region. Norfolk are having a little bit of a better time of it, because the king's forces are diverted. However, Count Raedulf's army here is not looking good.